3 years ago, I turned my hobby into a YouTube channel. And recently I realised, I think I nearly ruined it. So let me go back a bit, because this video is kind of about the channel, but it's also not really about the channel. It's more about a thing that I think happens to a lot of people in a lot of different hobbies. When I first started messing about in my garden woodworking, there was no channel. There were no subscribers, no sponsorship emails, no one sending me a router kit in exchange for 15 minutes of my life on camera. It was just me, some wood, and frankly, a dangerous amount of enthusiasm and not quite enough knowledge.
Hello everyone, I hope you're feeling well. I'm Jack, welcome to the channel. This is a wine caddy and today we're going to build it.
I'd built a few bits of furniture at home, a shelf, a dodgy little side table that wobbled slightly but I was unreasonably proud of. And at that point I thought, I may as well start filming this. Not because I had a grand plan, just because I wanted to remember how I did things. Like a video diary basically, but for wood. And those early videos were rough. I mean, properly rough. Terrible audio, camera pointing at the wrong thing half the time, me explaining a joining technique in a way that I now realise was completely wrong. But there was something really honest about them. I was just a bloke in his garden figuring stuff out. And people seemed to like that, which was genuinely surprising because the internet is not always a generous place. And yet, here were people in the comments saying things like, "This is exactly how I've been trying to do that," and "Cheers, mate. And I tried this and it worked," and that felt good, really good. And then, gradually, and I want to emphasize gradually, because it didn't happen overnight, things started to shift. First, the videos started doing a bit better, which meant I started paying attention to which videos did better. And once you start doing that, you're on a slippery slope. I mean, seriously, I can tell you that for free. You notice that the videos that you title Beginner's Guide to Something outperforms this other video title where you might have just said, I built a bench. You notice that the videos where you review tools seem to do far better and are much easier to make versus something where you've built something. So you just do more of that, which is fair enough, right? People find them useful. I mean, people watch them. That's good. And then more tool companies get in touch. And look, I am not going to pretend like it wasn't incredibly exciting getting sent all of this stuff to review, because it absolutely was. Someone sending me a beautiful piece of kit to try out, yes, please. But what also comes with that is this kind of implicit obligation, not always stated, but definitely felt. You want to make a good video. You want the review to be fair, but you also don't want to be rude about someone who's just sent you something for free. It's a weird line to walk. And then there's the algorithm. Oh, the algorithm. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I fully understand it because I don't think anyone really does. I suspect it's 40% data science and 60% pure chaos. But you start to feel it. You start to notice that certain types of thumbnails get more clicks, that certain video lengths seem to do better, that if you post on a Thursday at a specific time, something happens. Or maybe it doesn't, it's really hard to tell. The point I'm trying to make is, at some point you start making decisions based on all of this other stuff. And those decisions start to pile on top of each other. Until one day, you're standing in your workshop, looking at a stack of wood, and you think, would this make a good video? Instead of, what do I actually want to build? And that for me was the moment. That was the thing. I didn't notice it happening. That's the thing. It was so gradual. A degree here, a degree there. Like if you're on a long drive and you're slightly off course, you don't notice for ages, you just keep going. And then eventually you look up and you're somewhere you didn't really mean to be. I had this period. Probably realised it about 6 months ago, which is generally why I've been posting less on this channel, where I just wasn't enjoying being in the workshop very much. And I couldn't really figure out why. Because I love woodworking. I genuinely love it. There's something about working with your hands, making something out of nothing, and the smell of fresh cut wood, which, if you don't know what that's like, I highly recommend it, that is genuinely good for the soul, and I mean that. But I'd sit down to plan a build, and I'd immediately start thinking about how long the video would be, whether the project was interesting enough for the audience, what would the title and thumbnail look like, whether I needed a better hook for the intro, and all of that noise was sitting in between me and the actual thing I love doing. I'd also realised I'd quietly stopped doing certain types of builds. The small things, things that were just for me, a little jig I needed, a simple storage solution for the corner of my workshop, a picture frame to put pictures in of my family. Things that would make my life objectively better or easier, but wouldn't exactly set YouTube on fire. In a way, I'd been editing my own hobby without really meaning to. And I think, and I say this gently because YouTube is giving me a lot, I think what had happened is that the hobby had slowly become a performance. And a performance, by its very nature, is shaped by its audience. Which is brilliant when you're making something to share, but not brilliant when you've forgotten that you're allowed to just make things for yourself. So recently I decided to do something that felt slightly radical. I decided to build something that I wanted. I know, wild stuff. No sponsor, no brief, no thinking about whether this would get clicks, just I need some proper workshop storage, and I've been putting it off for about a year because it doesn't make a flashy video. So I'm just gonna build it now. And something happened when I started, which is that I just relaxed, like genuinely relaxed in the workshop for the first time in a while. I wasn't rushing to get a shot. I wasn't writing narration in my head whilst I was trying to cut a joint. I was just building. I made a mistake on the second day. I cut a panel slightly short, and my first reaction wasn't, oh no, I'll have to edit my way around that. It was just, right, how do I fix this? Which is how it used to be, which is how it should be. And look, I did film it, obviously, because you're watching it right now. So clearly at some point a camera was involved, but the filming was secondary. The building came first. And that sounds like a small thing, but it actually changes everything about how you move through a project. These cabinets, the ones you're watching go together right now, they're storage cabinets for the workshop. Nothing fancy, plywood carcasses, simple face frames, basic shelf pins. The kind that a lot of woodworkers would say, yeah, that's a Tuesday afternoon job right there, which in fairness, it kind of was. But they're going to hold my router bits, my sandpaper, and the 17,000 offcuts that I keep convincing myself that I'll use one day. I will not use them all, I know this, but I keep them anyway. And the thing is, every time I walk into the workshop while these were being built, I felt genuinely good about it. Not content creator good, not this is going to perform well on YouTube good, just quietly, privately satisfied. The way you feel when you tick something off a to-do list that's been there way too long. I've got a few things like this on my list actually. The workbench with some proper dog holes that I've been putting off, a small cabinet for my house, those photo frames I mentioned earlier. And I'm not saying that it's always bad. Turning a passion into a career or a side hustle is an extraordinary thing. I'm genuinely grateful that woodworking has led to this channel and the community around it and some of the really interesting opportunities. I don't take any of that for granted. But I think there's a thing worth protecting, a private version of your hobby that belongs just to you, where you're allowed to be bad at it, where you're allowed to go slowly, when you're allowed to build a slightly wonky shelf and not film it, because it doesn't matter if anyone else sees it. It mattered that you built it. Someone said something to me once, and I can't remember who it was. They said, be careful that what you love doesn't become what you owe. And I think about that quite a lot now, because that's the risk, isn't it? The moment your hobby becomes something you owe to other people, views, content, consistency, performance, it stops being a refuge and it just starts to be a job. And there's nothing wrong with a job, but you should know which one you're in. The workshop is still the same. Same tools, same smell, same slightly too loud radio that I keep meaning to replace. but I've been trying to get more intentional about why I'm in there. To check in with myself occasionally and ask, am I doing this because I want to, or because I think I should? It's a small question, but it changes the answers to a lot of the other ones. Anyway, the cabinets are done. They're exactly what I needed. They work perfectly, and I am aware that they're not particularly cinematic, but they make me happy every time I walk past them, which is more than I can say for some of the builds that I've done. If you've got a hobby that's started to feel like work, whether that's something you share online or something you've started to take too seriously, I'm not going to tell you what to do about it. You know better than I do. But maybe just build the thing you actually want to build, cook the thing you want to eat, make the thing that's for you. The audience will be fine. And if they're not, well, you'll have a nice cabinet. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy building.